The 6.2 patch has finally dropped. We've had it for around a week, and with that we've seen another large shift in the TTK. Just to state the obvious, in case you didn't know, this isn't a full TTK revert to the 5.0 TTK values that we all enjoyed. It is in fact a mixture of the old 5.0 TTK alongside a few other bits and pieces. I think the recoil on most of the automatic weapons has gone back to what we saw in 5.0, but you are going to take at least one more bullet to kill enemies at range. In close quarters they'll probably be around the same, but the meta has definitely changed. Some weapons that worked well in 5.0 don't work well now. Others that worked really well in 6.0 are now completely useless. So this video could be quite useful if you're looking to alter your loadout, update it, and create a solid loadout for each class. I will of course go through each class: Assault, Support, Medic, and Recon. I'm going to be using the usual set of websites to inform these choices alongside a bit of playtime I've spent on the game myself. You can find the links that I use down below, and also I have tried to include gameplay of the weapons I'm speaking about. It's not always possible, I don't have the time to get every single weapon, but there is a bit there, and I've showed you the specialization trees as well. Now, as usual, you can use any weapon you want to, and just because I didn't include it doesn't necessarily mean it won't work. Feel free to leave your own recommendations down below in the comments, and let's get started with the Assault class. As you may know, the recent patch has ruined quite a few automatic weapons, and it's now therefore a great time to pick up some of the semi-auto rifles. My go-to, as it was quite a while ago, is the Gewehr 1.5. I go for a right side specialization tree to start with, then you can pick either of the two, the right or the left for the middle. Two specializations, that's up to you, and then right for the final one. It's probably the best gun in the game right now. For me, I like having a 3x on it, that's just the way I play, and even though it drops to a 4 bullet to kill past 30 meters, hitting 4 bullets really isn't that difficult, considering most automatic guys are going to have to be hitting more than that. Its damage per second between 10 and 30 meters is really solid. You'll definitely feel this when you're lining up shots and getting consistent hits. You can run the hipfire spec to make it okay within close quarters, but me personally, I switch out to my secondary and I make this thing as competitive as possible at longer ranges. It is exactly as it used to be before the big TTK patch that we saw. It's a big pub farmer. This thing will dominate on servers full of players that are running around the place like a headless chicken. You see it all the time on Conquest servers, and the better players will be using this gun and hitting some big kill streaks. You can trust me on that one. Another weapon that is worth using now is the Turner. I go left, 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 right on the specialization tree. The MAS 44 with a left, 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 right specialization is another alternative if the Turner isn't for you. And finally, my last pick in the Assault class, the M1907 with a full right side specialization tree. Probably the best automatic weapon in the game. Maybe you used it before and realized how poor it was with the 5.2 TTK change. In my opinion, it's one of the best weapons you can be using now in close quarters, and it will also excel at that medium range, considering it has so little horizontal recoil and really no recoil at all to worry about. Moving on now to the medic class, things are as you'd expect, business as usual. The Type 2A is going to be incredibly strong. Left side, and then your final specialization is going to be on the right side. It's definitely a weapon loads of people will use. Your alternatives to this are the Suomi and the Thompson. Again, left, right, right, right on both of those. Since these are good within around 20 meters, outside of that though you will struggle. I would suggest picking these on maps that are close quarters. The Suomi is probably the best in terms of a damage output, and the Type 2A is just an all-round great weapon. You can't really complain about using that thing. I thought DICE would nerf it, they haven't really done so. The MP28 is another option in the medic class. You can go anywhere you like with the MP28. If you go a full left side, you'll have a certain sort of weapon. Full right side, a different type of weapon. It really depends on whether you want that hipfire spec or something slightly different. For me, I go full left hand side. The large magazine is also good hipfire specs on the weapon. It's something different to use, and again has very little recoil. Finally, the ZK383. I go left, 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 right. Another pick for you if you are looking for something a little bit different. A popular weapon throughout all the changes with TTK A little too much horizontal recoil on some of these weapons for my liking, but it's decent. And finally, you could pick the bolt-action rifles. Nothing much has changed with those. Onto the support class. This will be short and sweet. The Madsen is where I'd go with a full right side specialisation tree. It's very much better than it was, and it's had a massive upturn in popularity. You can see why. It's possibly the best range automatic weapon in the game. As I said, full right side for that one. Shotguns as good as ever. They've been reverted to the 5.0 damage model, so your 12G on Operation Underground is going to be insane. You could go for another shotgun if you don't like the 12G, but for me, it's still the best in my opinion. Finally, the Recon class. There's only one choice here for me personally, and that's the ZH-29. I go right, 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 left. Even better than it was before. It's a really strong weapon before the patch because of the 2-tap you could get, but since then it's even better because people will struggle at range with increased recoil on their weapons. Lots of horizontal recoil means hitting a target consistently at range is difficult. The ZH is easy to use though, and definitely the best range weapon in the game for me personally, as I struggle with the bolt action rifles. Saying that, the bolt actions have seen a big velocity buff, so many people will be having a lot of fun with those. The Model 8 is another option with a right, left, left, right specialisation tree. Trigger job bringing it up to a 224 rounds per minute, which is something nice to see once again. It's a very competitive weapon this, and within that mid-range you are going to be dominating using the Model 8. However, it does require a bit of finesse to use. Small magazines, you need to be reload cancelling, making use of your secondary weapon, and of course if you are a squad leader, you can then make use of your squad leader drops, run smoke as well, so you can maximise your efficiency with that class. A couple of things really to round this up. DICE have not reverted the TTK, they've reverted part of it. They think that you don't need to go back to what we had previously. I think they're still going to be chopping and changing TTK until they're not allowed to anymore and the next game comes out. I'm not too sure what they think they're trying to achieve in doing this. Balancing weapons is one thing, making wide-scale TTK changes on a patch-by-patch basis is not healthy at all. They haven't fixed the TTK, they've just made a terrible TTK much better. There's still a long way to go before we reach a really good position, in my opinion. Something very interesting that KHT said, he posted on Reddit, and this is where I've got most of this list from for these weapons. He's notoriously good at breaking down the stats and getting the best weapons after each patch. He has said, don't accept half measures as good, because this isn't. Being better than the TTK measures implemented by 5.2 and 5.2.2 isn't a high bar, because those changes were garbage. BF5's 5.0 time to kill is the bare minimum for good, and as I mentioned above, that still has room for improvement. That is exactly how I feel. Just because something was terrible before and now is slightly better doesn't mean we should stop. It needs to continue to improve because Battlefield 5 still has a long way to go before I will consider it a really good Battlefield game. That being said, there are some nice changes, and once again, the Gewehr 15 is going to dominate. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, leave a like down below. Remember to leave your comments and recommendations down below as well, and I'll catch you in the next video.